You ever get that feeling like you're watching some specific era in sports and you just know it's something special?
Yeah.
Think like Jordan's Bulls or Gretzky's Oilers, those moments where everything just clicks.
Right, those dynasties.
Yeah. Well, today we're diving into one of those eras in pro wrestling.
Okay.
Kenta Kobashi's reign as the GHC heavyweight champion in pro wrestling NOH.
Yeah.
It lasted from 2003 to 2005, and let me tell you, it was pure magic.
Yeah, and what's really wild is that this was all happening at a time when pro wrestling, especially in Japan, was kind of in a slump.
Yeah, yeah.
Titles were losing their shot. Storylines were getting kind of stale and repetitive, but Kobashi comes along. Bam! Suddenly that championship felt important again.
It's true. It really was like a shot of adrenaline straight to the heart of the industry.
Yeah, yeah.
But to really get why it was so significant, I think we need to rewind a bit.
Okay.
So NOH itself was formed by a group of wrestlers who left All Japan Pro Wrestling.
Right.
And Kobashi was like their biggest star.
One of them, for sure.
The guy was already a legend, but years of those brutal, hard-hitting matches, I mean, these guys were really going at it.
Oh, yeah.
It had taken its toll. He had been sidelined with some really serious knee injuries.
Multiple surgeries, too.
Exactly. And there were real doubts about whether he'd ever be able to wrestle at the top level again.
It was looking rough there for a while.
It really was.
And that's what makes his championship run even more incredible, right?
Absolutely.
It wasn't just about winning the title. It was a full-blown comeback story, like a testament to his willpower and his love for the sport.
Yeah.
So for this deep dive, we've got a stack of sources here. Match reviews, articles, even some old forum discussions from back in the day.
Oh, wow.
And we're going to try to use them to break down what made this era so special.
I love it.
And hopefully by the end of this, you'll have a list of matches you absolutely have to see to experience it for yourself.
All right, so picture this. March 1st, 2003.
Okay.
Kobashi's opponent. None other than Mitsuharu Misawa.
Whoa.
Another NOA founder and a legend in his own right.
For sure.
Like Magic versus Bird.
Oh.
But in the world of pro wrestling,
I like it.
their rivalry is the stuff of legends.
Oh, yeah. Fans compared them to iconic duos like Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter.
Wow.
Like, they were just that good.
Yeah, these two had been friends and rivals for years, going all the way back to their days in All Japan.
Yep.
And this match wasn't just any match.
Right.
It was a straight-up passing of the torch moment.
Yeah. The changing of the guard.
Both guys were known for their hard-hitting King's Road style.
Which we should probably explain means strong emphasis on really realistic, impactful moves.
Yeah, strikes.
Strikes, too. Lots of them.
Yeah, and this match was no different.
Yeah, it delivered.
It was fast-paced, brutal, full of near falls that had the crowd going absolutely bonkers.
Oh, yeah?
Early on, Misawa even got busted open, split his chin,
Oof, that's rough.
but kept fighting like a warrior.
Tough as nails.
Oh, yeah, and there's this one spot that I think is etched in the minds of every fan who saw it.
I'm ready.
Misawa hits Kobashi with his signature tiger suplex, but not in the ring. He does it on the entrance ramp.
No way.
I know the crowd went absolutely ballistic.
That's got to be brutal.
Oh, it was. And 30-plus minutes of just pure intensity later, Kobashi finally nails his finishing move, the Burning Hammer, and gets the pin. But this wasn't just a title change, you know? It felt like the start of a whole new era for NOH.
Absolutely. And there's a detail that really adds weight to that moment, too.
What's that?
Misawa never challenged for the title again.
Really?
He made it clear beforehand that this was it.
Huh.
A true passing of the torch.
Wow.
Stuck to his word.
That's amazing. It solidified Kobashi as the new ace of NOH.
It really did.
And that was just the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Just getting started.
Kobashi went on to defend that title 13 times during this reign.
That's wild.
Each match tells its own unique story.
Well, I'm sure.
He faced established stars, rising talent, and even brought in guys from other companies like New Japan Pro Wrestling.
That's always fun.
What's really incredible, though, is how he elevated every single opponent.
Yeah.
Even in defeat, they look like $1 million.
That's the mark of a true champion.
Yeah.
They don't just win.
Right.
They make everyone around them better.
His first defense was against a guy named Taemon Honda,
Okay.
member of Kobashi's own faction.
Right.
On paper, it wasn't a high-stakes match,
Right.
but Honda was a seriously talented wrestler who'd never really gotten a chance to shine until this match.
That's awesome.
It was his time.
And did he make the most of it or what?
Oh, he did. Honda pushed Kobashi to the limit, showcasing those amazing submission skills
Yeah.
and that Olympic-level grappling background he had.
That's right. He was an Olympian.
The match went nearly 25 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, way longer than most people expected.
Wow.
Honda proved he could hang with the champ. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Kobashi decides to take the GHC title on the road.
Okay.
He defends it against Masahiro Chono from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Ooh, interesting.
Chono was a huge deal.
He was.
Known for his charisma and that hard-hitting style.
Yeah.
A legend in his own right.
For sure.
It was a true clash of titans.
I bet.
This clash of styles between Noah's hard-hitting King's Road style and Chono's more methodical, brawling approach.
You don't see that every day.
And here's a crazy detail. Chono was wrestling with a torn knee.
Oh, wow. Are you serious? Talk about tough, right?
Yeah.
There's this amazing moment where he straight up refuses to let his corner throw in the towel,
Oh, wow.
even though he's clearly in agony.
Talk about willpower.
I know fans said it was a nod to that famous Helio Gracie versus Sakuraba fight in Pride,
Oh, yeah.
where Helio's corner finally threw in the towel after that grueling back-and-forth war.
I remember that.
It was insane.
That little detail adds a whole other layer to the match, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Shows the level of respect. Yeah.
And determination these guys had for each other.
Yeah. Even though they were from rival companies.
It wasn't just a match.
Right.
It was a battle of wills.
And, of course, Kobashi wins in the end, further solidifying his dominance.
And it wasn't just about Kobashi winning, though.
Right.
Beating Chono, a top guy from New Japan, meant that the GHC title was gaining recognition as one of the most prestigious championships in all of pro wrestling.
Not just in NOH.
Exactly. It was a statement.
Next up was Bison Smith.
Okay.
A big, powerful American wrestler who was making waves in NOH at the time.
Cool.
Now, this wasn't seen as a major title defense, but Kobashi, true to form, treated it like one.
Good for him.
He gave Smith a ton of offense and made him look like a genuine threat.
Nice.
It's actually kind of a bittersweet match to watch now.
Oh, why is that?
Tragically, Smith passed away a few years later.
Oh, no.
Due to heart complications.
Wow.
He was only 38.
That's way too young.
It's heartbreaking.
It is.
This match stands as one of his most memorable performances, though.
Okay.
A testament to his incredible athleticism.
Yeah.
And potential.
It's rough.
It is, but the match itself shows Kobashi's selflessness as a champion.
Okay.
He could have easily squashed Smith.
Right.
But instead, he gave him a chance to shine and showcase his skills on a big stage.
Yeah, that was Kobashi.
That's what made him so special. He elevated everyone he stepped in the ring with.
And it wasn't just about putting on a good show, though.
Okay.
These matches against guys from other companies like Chono and Smith
Yeah.
really helped to establish NOA's reputation.
Right.
They were going toe-to-toe with the biggest names in the business and proving they belong in the conversation.
Yeah, they earned that spot.
Absolutely.
After Smith, Kobashi faced another New Japan star, Yuji Nagata.
Okay. I know that name.
Now, this match is notable for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
First off, it was incredibly stiff. These guys were laying into each other with full force, no holding back.
Ouch.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is that Nagata actually got a heel reaction from the NOA crowd.
Huh. That's pretty rare.
Which is pretty rare, yeah.
Yeah.
A heel reaction basically means the crowd is booing the bad guy.
Right.
And it's not something you usually see when a wrestler comes in from another company.
Yeah, they usually get a little bit more respect.
Yeah, it shows that Nagata was really able to play the villain, get under the skin of the audience, even in a place where he wasn't a regular.
It's a skill.
It is.
So true.
Kobashi won, of course.
Right.
But Nagata gave him one hell of a fight.
Yeah.
It was a real test of his championship medal.
And this is where we start to see Kobashi's reign having a real impact, I think, on the larger wrestling landscape.
Yeah.
Delivering these hard-hitting, intense matches against top guys from other promotions. He was really helping to legitimize NOH as a major force in Japanese wrestling.
Yeah.
Putting them on the map.
And then we get to one of the most unique matches of Kobashi's entire reign, his defense against Yoshinari Ogawa.
Okay.
Now, Ogawa was this crafty, unorthodox wrestler known for his sneaky tactics and his willingness to bend the rules to win.
Ooh, I like him already.
Oh, yeah.
A rule breaker.
This match was a total departure from that hard-hitting King's Road style that NOA was known for.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It was full of cheating low blows, even a moment where the referee got knocked down and couldn't see Ogawa's shenanigans.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was almost like something you'd see in WWE, you know?
Oh, okay.
With all the chaos and drama.
Right.
It was
yeah.
wild. Ogawa was a real wild card.
Yeah.
Such a divisive figure in wrestling.
bet.
Some fans loved him, others hated his guts, but he was a phenomenal wrestler.
Yeah.
And a perfect foil for Kobashi's more straightforward style.
Yeah, I see that.
But even with all the shenanigans, the match was incredibly entertaining.
Of course.
And most importantly, it showed that Kobashi could adapt to any opponent, any style, and still come out on top.
Yeah.
He wasn't just a brawler, he was a complete wrestler.
That's a good point.
And when he did, Kobashi managed to outsmart Ogawa in the end.
Nice.
But not without taking a ton of punishment along the way.
Of course.
It was a testament to his toughness and his ability to think on his feet.
That's what makes a champion.
It really is. And believe it or not, that's just the first half of his reign.
Oh, man.
We've got plenty more ground to cover.
Okay.
So buckle up.
I'm ready.
We'll be right back to dive into even more of Kobashi's epic title defenses.
Can't wait. So Kobashi's next opponent after Ogawa brings us back to his roots.
Okay.
Back to All Japan Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
It was Akira Tao.
Tao.
Another one of those 4 pillars of heaven.
Right.
Alongside Kobashi, Misawa, and Kawada.
Yeah, the guys who defined All Japan in the 90s.
Exactly.
This match was a real blast from the past.
I was.
Both guys were, in their late 30s at this point. Not exactly spring chickens in the world of pro wrestling.
No, not at all.
But they were still going at it.
Oh, yeah.
With that classic hard-hitting style.
They didn't let up.
Tao was actually having a bit of a career resurgence in NOAH.
He was.
So it wasn't just a nostalgia act or anything?
No, he was a threat.
Yeah, he was a legitimate threat to Kobashi's title.
And the match itself.
Oh, yeah.
Brutal.
Oh, yeah.
They were trading chops, lariats, power bombs, all those stiff, impactful moves that defined the King's Road style.
Yeah.
There's one spot where Kobashi hit Tao with a power bomb right on the edge of the ring apron.
Ouch.
I was wincing just watching it.
I bet.
Brutal.
Yeah, Kobashi eventually put Tao away with the burning hammer.
Of course.
But man, Tao gave him a run for his money.
Oh, yeah.
It felt like a true clash of generations.
It did.
The old guard proving they could still hang with the best.
It's amazing how Kobashi managed to balance all of that,
Yeah.
Paying tribute to that classic All Japan style while still keeping his reign fresh and exciting.
It's a tough balance.
It
It
is.
felt like anyone who stepped in the ring with Kobashi
Yeah.
had the potential to pull off an upset,
Yeah.
which made his victories all the more impressive.
Absolutely.
Speaking of unexpected challenges, up next was Akitoshi Saito.
Cool.
Now, Saito was a solid wrestler,
Yeah.
dependable mid-card guy,
Right.
but he wasn't exactly seen as main event material,
Right.
This match ended up being one of the biggest surprises of Kobashi's entire reign.
Really?
Saito stepped up his game in a huge way.
Wow.
Trading strikes with Kobashi,
Yeah.
hitting some impressive power moves.
No way.
And the crowd was losing their minds.
I bet.
You could really feel the energy in the building.
Yeah.
The sense that maybe, just maybe, Saito could pull off the impossible.
I love that.
It's funny, this match wasn't even at NOH's usual spot.
Oh.
The Nippon Budokan in Tokyo,
Nice.
it was in Osaka,
Okay.
which doesn't always have the most rabid wrestling crowds. But that night, the atmosphere was electric.
Wow. That's cool.
It really shows you the power of a well-told story
Yeah.
in pro wrestling.
Absolutely.
On paper, it was Kobashi the dominant champion
Right.
versus Saito the underdog.
Classic.
But they managed to create this incredible drama, this
Right.
sense of genuine uncertainty that had everyone on the edge of their seats.
I bet.
In the end, Kobashi hit his brainbuster for the win,
Okay.
but Saito walked away with his head held high.
He earned it.
He proved that night he could hang with the best.
It's
Fans loved him for it.
It's what made Kobashi's reign so special.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about him. It was about elevating everyone around him.
Like he was bringing the best out of his opponents,
Yeah.
pushing them to reach new heights.
And that brings us to Minoru Suzuki.
Ooh, yeah.
Another pivotal match in Kobashi's reign.
Yeah.
Their clash.
Now, Suzuki was a different breed of cat.
Okay, how so?
He had been a pro wrestler in the 90s, then went off to make a name for himself in mixed martial arts.
Wow, interesting.
Before returning to wrestling in the early 2000s.
That's a cool background.
It is. He brought a whole new set of tools to the table.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
He was a master of technical wrestling.
Okay.
He had vicious strikes.
Mm-hmm.
And his submission game was on another level.
Wow. So he was like a hybrid fighter.
Yeah, almost like a prototype
Okay.
for the kind of wrestler who would become dominant in the 2010s.
Interesting.
These hybrid fighters who blended different styles.
That's ahead of his time.
It really was like Kobashi was fighting the future of pro wrestling.
Wow.
His usual power moves weren't as effective against Suzuki, who was always looking for a counter, always trying to exploit an opening.
All right.
There's this one moment where Kobashi goes for his signature power bomb.
Okay.
You know, the move that usually spelled the end for his opponents.
Right.
And Suzuki just smoothly transitions it into an armbar.
What? No way.
It was insane.
That's awesome.
It was a masterclass in counter wrestling.
It sounds like it.
And you could see that Suzuki's style was starting to influence Kobashi.
Oh, really? How so?
He had to adapt,
Okay.
become more strategic,
Right.
rely on his wrestling IQ as much as his strength and power.
Interesting.
Kobashi got the win,
Okay.
but it was a battle.
Yeah.
It felt like a real turning point in his reign.
Yeah.
A sign that he couldn't just rely on his old tricks anymore.
Right.
He had to evolve to stay on top.
And this match kind of foreshadowed Suzuki's own rise
Oh, yeah.
to the top of NOAH
Yeah.
in the years that followed.
He became one of Kobashi's greatest rivals.
Oh, wow.
And their matches are legendary.
So cool how this one match,
Yeah.
this clash of styles,
Mm.
set the stage for so much that was to come.
It's like a microcosm of Kobashi's entire reign, you know?
Yeah.
Constantly pushing boundaries, facing new challenges,
Yeah.
and ultimately changing the landscape of pro wrestling in Japan.
And then the big one,
Oh.
Kobashi versus Toshiaki Kawada.
Now, this one wasn't actually for the GHC heavyweight title.
Right.
Kawada was still wrestling for All Japan at the time,
Yeah.
but he declared himself a freelancer,
Interesting.
which meant he could work for other companies.
Yeah.
And NOAH jumped at the chance to book him against Kobashi.
I bet they did.
It was like a dream match.
For
For
sure.
fans who had grown up watching these guys tear it up in All Japan during the 90s,
Yeah.
Kobashi, Kawada, Misawa, and Tao, the four pillars of heaven.
All in one place.
They were the heart and soul of All Japan.
Absolutely.
And their matches defined a whole era of pro wrestling.
So this was a big deal.
Oh, yeah. But Kobashi and Kawada hadn't faced off in a singles match since 2000.
Wow.
And the build-up to this match was huge GE.
Okay.
NOA was running its biggest show ever,
Okay.
a sold-out event at the Tokyo Dome.
Wow. That's like the Japanese equivalent of WrestleMania.
Exactly. Huge. This match was the co-main event,
Oh,
billed as a clash of legends.
that's what it was.
The atmosphere in the Tokyo Dome was electric.
I bet.
Like 50,000 people all on their feet, chanting and cheering for these two warriors.
That's got to be an incredible feeling.
It was, and the match itself.
Yeah.
Man, it lived up to the hype and then some.
Good.
It was a textbook King's Road battle.
Nice.
Hard-hitting strikes, suplexes, near falls that had the crowd gasping for air.
I could only imagine.
They beat the hell out of each other.
Oh, yeah.
For almost 35 minutes straight.
Wow.
There's this one spot I still can't get over.
Okay, what is...
Kawada hits Kobashi with this massive exploder suplex from the top rope.
Oh, my God.
I thought for sure Kobashi was done,
Right.
but somehow, someway, he kicked out.
Kobashi's just built different.
He really is. And then a few minutes later,
Yeah.
he hits Kawada with a move that I don't think anyone expected.
What's that?
A moonsault from the top rope.
Whoa.
Kobashi rarely ever used that move.
Yeah, especially later in his career.
Right, because of his knees.
Yeah.
But for
Yeah.
this moment, he pulled it out.
That's awesome.
And the crowd went absolutely wild.
That moonsault wasn't just a high-flying move or
Oh,
anything. It was a statement.
It was.
It was Kobashi saying,
Yeah.
I'm still here, I'm still the best, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah. And in the end,
Yeah.
he did win, hitting Kawada with the burning hammer for the pin.
What a match.
An epic conclusion to an absolutely unforgettable match.
People still talk about that match today
Oh, yeah.
as one of the greatest pro wrestling matches of all time.
It really is a classic.
A testament to the legacy of All Japan Pro Wrestling, to the incredible talent of both men,
Yeah.
and to the enduring power of the King's Road style.
After this victory, Kobashi seemed unstoppable,
He did.
at the peak of his powers.
Yeah,
And the GHC Heavyweight Championship had never felt more important.
right.
But, as they say, all good things must come to an end.
Unfortunately.
And in Kobashi's case, that end came in a way that surprised a lot of people.
It did.
It raises an interesting question, though.
Was that?
How do you follow a champion like Kobashi?
Yeah.
How do you find someone who can live up to that legacy
Right.
and carry the torch forward?
It's a tough act to follow.
It really is. But NOAH had a plan,
Okay.
and it involved a young up-and-comer named Takeshi Rikio.
Okay, I know that name.
He was a former sumo wrestler
Oh, wow, really?
who'd transitioned to pro wrestling,
Interesting.
and he had a ton of potential.
Cool. Rikio had actually challenged Kobashi for the title before,
He did.
like about a year earlier.
Yeah.
But he came up short.
Right.
This time, though, something felt different.
Okay.
The fans were buzzing.
Yeah.
There was a real sense that a changing of the guard was about to happen.
Yeah.
It felt like Kobashi's reign was reaching its natural conclusion.
Okay.
He'd been champion for over 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He'd defeated everyone who'd stepped up to challenge him.
Right.
It felt like the perfect time for a new chapter to begin.
And the match itself did not disappoint.
Good.
Rikio came in with so much intensity,
Yeah.
so much fire.
I bet.
He even managed to kick out of some of Kobashi's biggest moves,
Really?
like the burning lariat.
Wow. Even the moonsault.
I know.
Kobashi rarely used that move,
Yeah.
especially at this point in his career,
Right.
because of his knees.
It shows how much respect he had for Rikio.
Yeah.
How determined he was to win.
Mm-hmm.
But even that wasn't enough.
And then,
It happened.
yeah,
Rikio hit his finishing move, the Muso.
okay.
Got the 3 count.
Wow.
The crowd went absolutely bonkers.
I bet.
It was a true passing of the torch moment,
Yeah.
just like Kobashi's win over Misawa 2 years earlier.
What I thought was really cool was how Kobashi handled the defeat.
Yeah.
He was so gracious.
He
You know,
was...
handed Enriqueo the belt,
Yeah.
raised his hand in victory,
Mhm.
even gave him some words of encouragement.
Yeah, it was a beautiful display of sportsmanship and respect.
Powerful moment.
It really was.
Seeing this legendary warrior acknowledge the rise of a new generation,
Yeah.
like the end of an era,
Saw?
but also the start of something new and exciting.
It was a great moment, but being the champion is a whole different beast.
Oh, yeah,
The pressure is immense. The target on your back is enormous.
for sure.
And unfortunately for Rikio,
Yeah.
his reign didn't quite live up to the expectations that came with it.
Why not?
I think there were a few factors at play.
Okay, like what? Okay, like what?
Well, NOA had a huge Tokyo Dome show coming up,
Okay,
and they wanted a main event that would really draw a massive crowd.
right.
They'd already announced Kobashi versus Kenta,
Oh, yeah.
another rising star
Mm-hmm.
for the Dome show.
Okay.
And they also had plans to bring in Toshiaki Kawada from All Japan to face Misawa.
Oh, wow.
These were dream matches.
Yeah,
Matches that could headline any show in the world.
for sure.
Rikio, as talented as he was,
Right.
wasn't quite at that level yet.
Yeah.
I remember those matches.
Me too.
Everyone was talking about them.
It was a big deal.
It felt like a true changing of the guard.
Yeah, and there was also this industry-wide trend at the time
Okay.
towards crowning younger champions.
Right.
Like Satoshi Kojima had just won the Triple Crown title in All Japan,
Yeah.
and he was seen as the future of that company.
Mm-hmm.
So NOACE might have felt some pressure,
Yeah.
to follow suit,
Right.
to push their own younger talent to the forefront.
So Rikio ended up defending the title against Hiroshi Tanahashi at the Tokyo Dome show.
Okay.
And it wasn't even the main event.
Wow.
Now, it was a good match, don't get me wrong,
Right.
but it didn't have that same level of buzz.
Yeah.
That same feeling of historical significance as the other big matches on the card.
I bet.
And sadly, Rikio lost the title to Jun Akiyama a few months later.
You know.
It was a decent reign,
Yeah.
but it never quite reached those same heights as Kobashi's.
Right.
It felt like NOH was still searching
Mm.
for that next defining champion.
Yeah.
Someone who could carry the torch and lead them into a new era.
It's tough to follow a legend.
It really is, but here's the thing. Even though Kobashi lost the title,
Yeah.
he didn't just fade away.
Yo.
He was still a major force in NOH.
Yo.
He had these incredible matches against guys like Samoa Joe,
Oh, yeah.
this young up-and-comer who'd go on to become a huge star in America,
Now him.
and Kensuke Sasaki,
Oh, wow.
a legendary wrestler from New Japan.
That's a cool matchup.
It was.
Yeah.
Even without the championship, Kobashi proved he was still one of the best in the world.
And you know what I really admire about him?
What's that?
He never complained
Yeah.
about losing the title or being pushed down the card.
He was a true professional.
He was.
A class act.
Yeah, always put the company first.
So, what can we take away from all of this?
Yeah.
Kenta Kobashi's reign as GHC heavyweight champion wasn't just a series of great matches.
Right.
It was a golden age for NOAH.
Right.
A time when the company was at its creative peak,
Mm.
pushing boundaries and setting a new standard for pro wrestling.
It was a testament to Kobashi's talent,
Yeah.
his resilience,
Yeah.
his ability to elevate everyone around him.
Absolutely. And for anyone listening who wants to experience this era for themselves, I
Yeah.
highly recommend checking out some of the matches we discussed.
Yeah. Good idea.
Kobashi versus Misawa on March 1st, 2003.
Classic.
Kobashi versus Chono on May 2nd, 2003.
Another good one.
Kobashi versus Nagata on August 31st, 2003.
Okay.
Kobashi versus Ogawa on January 10th, 2004.
Got it.
Kobashi versus Akiyama on July 10th, 2004.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Kobashi versus Kawada also on July 10th, 2004.
Can't go wrong with that one.
Trust me, you won't be disappointed.
They're master classes. in
Yeah.
storytelling, athleticism, and just pure passion.
Yeah, and they serve as a reminder that pro wrestling, at its best,
Yeah.
can be a truly captivating art form.
Absolutely.
And here's a question to leave you with.
Okay. I'm ready.
Do you think a reign like Kobashi's is still possible in modern wrestling? What would it take to recapture that level of prestige, that
Yeah.
sense of excitement, that feeling that you're watching something truly special?
It's a good question.
It is.
The landscape of pro wrestling has changed so much since Kobashi's time.
Yeah.
But the core elements that made his reign so captivating,
Yeah.
strong storytelling, compelling characters,
Right.
incredible in-ring action,
Mm-hmm.
those are timeless.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
Well, that's all for our deep dive into Kenta Kobashi's legendary GHC Heavyweight Championship reign.
It was a good one.
It was. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time for